So here he is, denied from college out of high school, had to go to prep school in New Mexico, proceeded to get into United States Merchant Marine Academy, played 4 years of college lacrosse there, broke his jaw, tore his ACL, graduated, sailed the world as an engineer, soon to be a Black Hawk pilot. Most importantly, as you can see, head of Mustaches here at Footwork. And here he is, my brother, Nick Vinberg. Welcome to Footwork.
Thanks. Thank you for the introduction. It's an honor to be here and growing out the mustache for the
this is why you have this job at Footwork, head of Mustaches.
For the pod. So it's great though, because when I was getting ready, so they're like, we have a jersey, we have shin guards. Sean gave me an old pair of cleats that my toes are poking out.
It's so funny that day. Like he's standing in the background with the camera, and then like 5 minutes later, he's like ready to play. No one around was like, how did this guy just go from the photographer to like the starting keeper? I don't know. That's that league though. Sometimes
that's the league.
It's just like it's the wild west of.
I'm seeing you guys warm up. You guys are just zinging it into the goal. So here I am.
I mean, talk about making your own path. We can make the whole episode just based on this. I mean, just get off the sidelines and just play goalie one night. Yeah.
You got to be ready. It. We talk about it all the time. You got to be ready 365 days a year, even if it's not your sport. That opportunity comes knocking.
You never know when that opportunity is going to come. Run. When you get to a corner, you have to stop, and then you square. So you like perfectly make a right turn. Like you go
a right angle turn,
perfect right angle turn, and then you start sprinting again. And obviously, when you square the corner, you have to say snap pop or whatever it is, because it's a two count motion. So all around campus, all these young bucks, they're all screaming snap pop at the top of their lungs, and then just sprinting. So it's pretty comical, but that's just one.
I saw Sean doing that at Oneonta too. It was the only one. It was kind of weird in that situation. Sean, why are you yelling snap pop? Like we just got to the dining hall. I know it's chicken tenders day, but like chill out. Okay. All right.
And then
what is a ruck for people who may not know?
Yeah, right. You're right.
I mean, if I didn't know you guys, I probably wouldn't know what a ruck is.
Short and simple, ruck is just put on a backpack with a lot of weight in it and just go walk. But it's not a walking, it's not a running. So it's like
a trudge.
It's like a power walk.
You wish you could like jog, because it'd be easier. Like almost on your calves and everything, but it's more like a fast pace.
Gotcha.
So that's a ruck.
It's like if you ever seen those track events, like the fast walking, speed walking.
Exactly.
Could you picture Nick like he's just like waddling back and forth with the sack on?
There's a little less butt.
I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So
and as far as like the whole group mentality, so when you're in a team, I think it's more you have like your individual worth, and what you do for the team is that you get better. You're getting better yourself to allow yourself to be better and make a better impact for your team and make your team better. You don't just like, it's just making everything you do for the team, but that doesn't take away you stopping yourself from getting better. It's just changing your mindset of why you're getting better. It gives you a better reason to get better. So like, for example, if your team, like when we were rucking, if you're always the last person, you're not helping your team. Like you're gonna now work overtime and work all afternoon and ruck every day and get stronger legs, get in better shape to now be at the front of the line, like in the front of the pack, pushing everybody rather than slowing them down. Because if you start going faster, then another person will notice they're in the back, so they're gonna get better. Now the next person, they're gonna notice they're in the back and they get better. So I think it's more like you still have like, as long as you keep that competitive mindset and you keep the team in mind, you still have like an individual way of thinking, but it's more just, you're more driven for the team goal.
Okay. Yeah.
And then when you start going into military, there's so many different aspects. And now you're meeting people, especially when I got to Kings Point, you're meeting people who are not like you, who are not athletes. And so now it's like, how do you relate to them and lead them? And so you just have to, there's obviously a goal in mind, and then you just have to relate to every single type of person you meet. You can't just you can't be closed-minded to just like, oh, I'm only going to hang out with the athletes, or I'm only going to, no, learn about the guy. My roommate freshman year, he was homeschooled from Wisconsin, homeschooled his entire life, never played a sport in his life, painted soldiers every single day. And you have to learn how to talk with him, how to lead him and get him motivated to do something. How do you get a guy who's never run a mile to run a mile and like push himself to run that mile? Like that's the best part about, and that's why the opportunity I was given at Kings Point I was lucky for, because you meet all sorts of people as similar as they are to you, because they signed up for the service academy. They're really very different than no person was the same. I mean, the most simple thing, especially at like service academy, is like, so if this guy, so they inspected our shoes. If he is inspecting your shoes and he's saying that they're not shined, and then he's wearing, so you have leathers and you use shine to shine your shoes. If he's wearing core frames, they're plastic shoes that are always shined. So now he's telling you that your shoes aren't shiny enough, and he's not even shining his own shoes. What does that say about him? And now, and then there's another guy who's, or say if it's an officer, because we had like CEOs of our company, like company officers, and he's been in the military for 40 plus years. So he's a 60-year-old man, and he still shines his shoes every single day. And his shoes, you could see your reflection in. If he tells you, oh, you didn't shine your shoes, you better go shine your shoes. It's more of just like the more you show that you care as a leader and you've done everything that you're telling them to do, you just gain respect as a follower. Right. So it's nice to see when you're younger is like what makes you gain respect for a leader, and you write that stuff down. I always write it down, and now I make sure I try to practice every single one of those things. Something, for example, if you're going to give jobs to people underneath you, you better have read up on every single thing, at least know the basics of what's going on with the crane, give some ideas, read the manual, stay up all night reading a manual about a job before you give it to somebody. Because if you just give a job and you expect, oh, they'll know it, that's not what a leader does. A leader knows what's going on. Maybe you don't know everything because they know the specifics of the job. You at least know what's going on. You read the manual and they notice that like you actually care about what you're giving them. And that's kind of just like, right. It's humility and just preparation of just you shouldn't just be giving jobs that I'm trying to think of like the civilian.
Yeah. Like you shouldn't just point like, I mean, if you're just a CEO at a business, you shouldn't be telling people to do these things and you have no idea like how they're done or what the outcome should be. It's just blind. It's like blind leadership, really.
You don't need to know how to perform the job to the level that they can do it, but you should have an understanding of it to know what you're asking of them.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
Sophomore year, we had a great year. I got all prepared for junior year. First scrimmage we had, tore my ACL. And so when setbacks like this happen, I always had a mindset, and Inky Johnson kind of drove that into me, where it's just like, you're committed to being the best teammate that you could possibly be. And lacrosse is a part of it, but you're the best teammate. That's what you signed up for. You didn't sign up for be the best lacrosse player you could be. By being the best teammate, you should be the best lacrosse player. But it's like a little wording right there is what
it encompasses so many more things than just playing
and simply playing on the field.
Oh, that was funny.
Wasn't there a biking story too, or you guys like going to work?
Yeah, we decide let's bike to work. It's I don't know, whatever, 25 miles. Just have to leave extra early. We'll both have a big rucksack on, backpack with all our stuff and the bike.
This is just like a random Tuesday.
It was like like tomorrow, let's do this. And sure enough, one of the bikes, tires blown, done. So we got to scrap the bike. We throw it in the woods. And for the preceding, I think 12 miles, we alternated every mile. So one person would go on the bike with both backpacks and ride. The other one would run. And then
his ankle was definitely messed up.
Oh yeah, and this is like 6 weeks off my ankle tearing. So I wasn't really ready to run, but hey, we got to get to work. So how are we going to do this? We're going to call a taxi? Of course not.
I mean, that's like what many people would think, like, I got to get to work, let me call a taxi.
It's very funny. It's very funny to think of that, because that option never even came across. The only option was we have to get to work. We're
And
either
we have to
running-
hide the bike somewhere. That was like the
Right.
first thought. And then we're like, all right,
Exactly.
and then we'll just figure it out. And we're like, all right, well, we could sprint a mile pretty fast, and then you can just rest on the bike. And that's what we did.
There's one sentence I would tell myself, probably be something along the lines with, I've gotten pretty lucky along the way. I mean, with every experience, every single thing that I've come across. But I think the biggest thing is to be so hungry, no matter how lucky you get, be so hungry to get to a next level, a new level, and keep getting better. And no matter what happens, keep going at it, keep going after it. You could always get better. And that's kind of what we've talked about the entire time, is you could always get better.
Keep moving forward.
Damn
my
right. Keep
man.
moving forward is right.
Keep moving
I love
forward.
that.
Until
Wow.
next time.
Keep moving forward
Keep learning.
and make your own path.
Damn right. Let's go.
Footwork is sponsored by ourselves, but also Kong Fitness and Merchant Designs, baby. Follow us on Instagram at footwork_podcast. Twitter is at Footwork Podcast. YouTube and Facebook, just check out Footwork Podcast, search it. Email us if you need anything, any questions at footworkpodcast@gmail.com. And remember, plug, pass. Tell your parents, Amazon delivery guy, mailman, I don't know who, just tell them. Like, subscribe, review, all of it helps. Danke.